What is up, guys? In today's video I'm going to be going over what I think are the best attachment setups on the weapons that we have in Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 4. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what your favorite weapon is so far this season. So if you guys don't know, the weapon benches do open up in 3rd zone, but there is also a mod bench on the island that spawns in 4th zone. Either way, that's decently late into the game, and I get a lot of people asking me like what the best attachments are, so I make one of these videos every season. So we're going to start off with the ARs. I only have the striker burst and the combat AR here with me, but that's fine because my combat AR attachments are going to be very similar to my striker AR, the fully automatic one. I kit them out the same, and that's going to be the first red dot. This is kind of best for close to medium range, which is where these weapons thrive. I like speed mag for faster reload speed. Some people like drum because they say it matters more in the fight. But the thing I don't like about drum mag is that it makes the weapon take longer to reload. So I pretty much never want to use drum mag. The only weapon I really like using it on is the Gatekeeper Shotgun. And then the final two attachments, I just like going reduced recoil. So we're going to put on vertical foregrip and then the muzzle brake as well. Silencer does reduce the range of your weapon, meaning you will get reduced damage at range earlier than you would without the suppressor. Muzzle brake reduces recoil, which is nice. And then I like having vertical foregrip for even more reduced recoil, just to get the lowest amount of recoil possible. You could make an argument for faster aim down sight speed, better hip fire, or better strafe speed. It's a lot of preference on this underbarrel attachment for both the striker AR and the combat AR. It's really just up to you, but I prefer to go the low recoil build. If you like having a laser to make the weapon a little more versatile, like that's fine. For the striker burst AR, this weapon is a bit different, and I feel like it's more of like a ranged kind of pick weapon or like tag weapon. So for that reason, I like the thermal scope most on this. I feel like it makes it a lot better to use that range, and I actually did make a video about this recently. We're going to go speed mag again, and then again, I'm just going to be going for low recoil. You could make the argument for laser if you want it. It's just preference, but I definitely think you want muzzle brake instead of suppressor. So those are my two AR builds. For the striker burst, we have thermal sight. For the other ARs, I just have the first red dot, and that's what I enjoy using on the ARs. Now for shotguns, this is where it actually kind of varies weapon to weapon. The Gatekeeper, or just for across the board, I don't like having a sight on my shotgun. Some people really like it, and it can be very good in the right hands, but I'm not someone who enjoys using that. So we're going to go no sights. For the Gatekeeper, I like having drum mag. And then again, for this attachment here, you could make an argument for either laser or angled foregrip. It really just depends on you. For the Gatekeeper, I like going laser sight. And then muzzle brake for reduced recoil doesn't really matter on the shotguns. Recoil is how much the weapon like kicks when you shoot it. And that's just not a problem that's going to be relevant on shotguns. So on the Gatekeeper, I just like going drum mag laser. If you like drum mag angled or drum mag speed grip, by all means. But vertical foregrip I don't think is necessary at all. And then the same is true of red dots. If you like having one and it works for you, that's great. I personally don't enjoy having that. The Sovereign would be a very similar build. You can't get a magazine attachment. I don't like having a sight. And then the final attachment I don't think is necessary. I don't like having a suppressed shotgun. For this weapon, I typically do angled foregrip because this is a weapon that gets a decent aim down sight benefit. So I feel like having angled foregrip makes it most easy to take advantage of that benefit. But you could also make the argument that in a lot of fights you're going to be in, you're going to be using the hip fire anyways. Because you only want to aim down sights in certain situations because it gets lower fire rate. I feel that the fights I'm aiming in with the Sovereign shotgun are fights that really matter. It's often like when I'm playing off the jetpack and stuff. So I like having angled foregrip for that reason, but I think you can also go laser. It's just preference. And then the same is true of the pump. I don't like having a sight. You can put speed mag on if you want it. It's not going to hurt. I would probably put on laser sight for the pump, and then muzzle or barrel attachment doesn't really matter. So that's how we go for the shotguns. Gatekeeper, drum mag laser. For Sovereign, either laser angled, depends on you. And then for pump, speed mag laser, pretty good setup. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the more niche weapons. So we have the Monarch pistol, the Hyper SMG, and the Ranger pistol. The Ranger pistol I actually kit out exactly like how I do my ARs. I do red dot, speed mag, laser. There's no vertical foregrip, you can't put it on, and then muzzle brake. So on the Ranger pistol, this is what I like having. If you like having no sight at all on it and you just like using the third-person weapon, by all means, the Ranger pistol is a good third-person weapon. But me, most of the time I'm using this, I'm using it kind of as an AR replacement that kind of does better in close range than the ARs would, so this is my preferred setup. For the Hyper SMG, I never use this weapon, but if I was going to, I'd probably just do speed mag, laser, muzzle brake. You can maybe put the sight on it if you want. I don't really care one way or the other. Like I said, I don't want to ever use this weapon. I don't think it's very good. And then the Monarch pistol, I think is a lot of preference. I would put the 1x red dot on it. If you like the 1.3, that's fine. A lot of the sights do come down to preference. I think this weapon has more of a potential argument for drum mag because it is like a hard-hitting weapon that with not a great mag capacity, but I would still probably put on speed mag. Laser is the only choice here, so we're going to put that on, and then I'd put on muzzle brake for reduced recoil. I don't really care for the suppressor attachment. And so that's what I would use on this. I feel like these final weapons were all a lot more like self-explanatory and really not that kind of big of a deal one way or the other. It's just mostly preference for them. Or kind of there isn't many slots or many options anyways, you know, so like on this you can only put laser here, so you might as well. But that is going to be it for this video. I just wanted to quickly go over some of the attachments. I think it's pretty kind of simple and self-explanatory, but I still it's something I get asked about all the time, and I feel like it's one of those things where like if people are asking me about this in the comment section of YouTube videos, then there's probably also a lot of people who think the same way or feel the same way who just don't bother to comment or don't want to comment, you know? So for a lot of you, this video is probably pointless. You already know what you like using, but for people that get kind of confused with the attachment system or overwhelmed with it, something like this can be really beneficial. If you are someone who gets overly kind of overwhelmed or kind of it feels like there's so much going on with the attachments in this game, I'll put a code for a creative map down in the description below called the pit. Doesn't really matter. The thing is, you can use the mod bench in here and you can make it a private match and then kind of use the mod bench at your own pace. So if you are someone who kind of feels like you struggle with the mod bench and you don't really know what you like using or you don't really know how to navigate it, and then it's also compounded by the fact that like you only get access to it at certain points in the game, then going into a private match in creative and kind of messing around with it at your own pace and getting a little more familiar with it, I think can make the game a lot easier for you, or make this kind of aspect of the game a lot easier for you, because if you are a newer player especially, it's a bit harder to make it to third zone. You know, it's a bit harder to make it to fourth zone for that loot island. And then when you do, you kind of have to worry about enemies coming in and third partying you and things like that. So I would recommend going into creative and familiarizing yourself with the mod bench if you do feel overwhelmed with it, because you don't want to be waiting too long down there in an actual match when there's like enemies coming to fight you and coming to third party you. And that is like one final tip for this video. With the weapon bunkers, I would highly recommend getting in and out as fast as you can, because I don't know about you guys, but I do not like fighting in or around them. So I try to get to the bunkers early. You can tell if it's going to spawn if there's a bunch of like supplies outside of it. Get in and out as quick as possible. That way I don't have to worry about, you know, fighting people who are camping down there or having people on the outside waiting for me. But that is going to be it for this video. Hope you guys found this to be helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.